Pondering is mental freedom. It's a way I've been giving myself grace through the bounds set before me. The seasons are slightly shifting, and when I examine my mental flow in its natural state, I also notice the shifts happening within me. Many people shy away from embracing this art because it may represent this idea of being unproductive. But I believe it's the opposite. Pondering is a key component of internal expansion, a key to accessing the progression we seek through routine and movement. Staring into space is me entering a realm of comfort and clarity. And I can confidently say, pondering is my favorite hobby. Pondering is like feeling a warm embrace. It's like telling your mind, I see you, I feel you, and although I don't identify with you, I accept you. Pondering is like resting on a pillow, and when I allow the components of my mind to just lay freely in the space it exists in, I am allowed to analyze what makes up that space without judgment. I feel like I am just allowed to be. At times when I'm pondering at home, I'm sitting in this very spot and I'm just looking up at the ceiling, and from the outside looking in, it appears as though I'm just staring into space, but in reality, the inner workings of my being and who I am are extremely active. At times, I feel like I need to bathe in stillness to allow my mind to roam freely. And when I'm staring into space or I have my eyes closed and there's no clear direction to where I want my mind to go, I feel like I am not contained within my body. I feel like I am stretching outward. In these moments of pondering, my facial expression is often neutral, but there's so much taking place within. There's so much expression going on within. And often during these pondering moments, I feel like I am mostly myself. Pondering feels like pouring a hot cup of tea while I'm providing myself space to release and expand. I can feel thoughts of creativity and inspiration pour within me. The process of thinking usually includes an objective: solve, decide, understanding, and planning. When you give yourself time to ponder, there's usually no endpoint. Questions can remain questions for as long as you allow them to. They can remain mysteries until you look at the sky differently or you close your eyes and just hear the answer within you. When I'm pondering, all bets are off. I'm just allowing myself to flow as freely as the trees are blowing in the wind. There's no strategy and there's nothing to solve. I'm just being. Like I chose to be here right now. If I take a comfortable seat and I decide to just fix my eyes at a particular place and I sort of, as they say, space out, I can literally go anywhere. I can go anywhere I'd like to go, and before I travel somewhere, I can go there in my mind. And guys, that's manifestation. Pondering is manifestation. It allows you to unlock key details about yourself that you've never known. And sometimes when I ponder so deeply, I have memories from my childhood or from years ago that I've never given myself space to hold when I'm having creative blocks or when I feel frustrated. Pondering is my friend. You know, often disassociating gets a bad rep, and I completely understand that it's so important to be aware and it's so important to be present. But as you guys know, and I repeat myself so many times because I need you to understand that we are way more than our body. When I ponder, when I disassociate, and when I allow my mind to wander, I am being present. I am simply taking a moment to forget about this body, and I am nurturing what lies on the inside. And today, the inside of me craves coming to nature completely alone to ponder some more. As long as your priorities are straight and you're taking care of yourself and your responsibilities, don't let anyone shame you into thinking that pondering and sitting down and just thinking with no distractions is an unproductive act. Pondering gives birth to all amazing and genius and beautiful ideas that have happened in our lifetime and the lifetimes before us and the lifetimes that are ahead of us. Who are we if we don't ponder? Who are we if we don't ground ourselves and immerse ourselves in who we are on the inside? If you don't take time to ponder and you're constantly seeking validation after validation and trying to fill up your cup, I highly suggest that you take the courageous act of just sitting and just pondering, allowing your mind to flow where it naturally flows. And on the back end, the way back end where your consciousness is, ask yourself, why does my mind go here? Why am I thinking about this person right now? Why am I thinking about this right now? Why is my mind the way that it is? And how can I make a connection from my mind to my past experiences, from my mind to what I experienced as a child? Who am I? These are the questions that can be answered as you ponder, or it doesn't have to be that deep. It always is that deep, guys, but it doesn't have to be. Sometimes I ponder just to escape, and when I decide to ponder and I feel all of these thoughts rushing in that I don't want, I reach a point in my journey where I'm able to dismiss those thoughts, empty my mind, and let me tell you, that is such an amazing feeling, just staring off blankly while the inside of you that you cannot see travels about. If I had a superpower, guys, I would astral project. And I feel like pondering is another form of meditation, and it's the closest that we can get to astral projection. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Whoa. How was your nap? How was your nap? What about you? Ever since I was younger, I've sort of mastered this ability to disassociate or just to drown out the noises around me and the noises going on in my head and just find myself within and beyond. I guess it has a lot to do with the way that I've grown up. Before beginning this journey of coming back to myself, I admit that I've used disassociation or pondering as a negative way to cope, a way to not address or deal with the things that I was facing within, the things that haunted me and impacted the ways that I viewed myself and those around me, the things that impacted how I form relationships and how I show up every single day. And since beginning this journey, I have put power into pondering. I put power into pondering by focusing on how my inner workings and the outer world sort of have this relationship and intertwine, and how they impact one another and the world that I enter in when I either close my eyes or when I'm staring into the abyss. This world that I enter into is a calm world. It's a world where I'm able to see everything while physically having my eyes fixated on one thing. I'm looking at this tree right now and I'm drowning out the noises around me. And I just feel so comfortable. And my subconscious is just paying attention to where my mind is going. If you use pondering in a positive way, you'll be able to better control your thoughts. I just want to apologize to my plant right now because I think it's been almost 2 weeks since I've watered her and I don't know where the time has gone. Lately, I found myself pondering more often than usual because I can sense another shift happening in my life, and I find these shifts often occur with the changing of the seasons. And no, it's not the very end of summer, yet I can sense the change in seasons and how the sun rises and sets and the shifting of the bird calls when they decide to begin and end their songs of the day. I can sense the upcoming seasonal changes and the wind early in the morning when I come out for fresh air or when I'm leaving for work. When I used to have these feelings, I used to feel so confused, anxious, and not know what to do with these feelings. But now I understand that big changes are happening in my life. And for me, with change comes silence, and it comes pondering, and it comes thinking deeply and looking into the sky, because the sky is medicine. The sky is the cure. And at this point, I can sense clarity pretty much anywhere I look. You may be listening and you may wonder, what shifts are happening exactly? How are you preparing for the next phase of your life? In this current phase of my journey, I've been feeling called to improve my self-discipline overall. If I know I shouldn't deal with someone or a group of people, then I should stop dealing with them completely and just cut ties completely, regardless of how I feel on nights where I may feel lonely. If I tell myself I'm going to work out, I have to work out. If I say I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday after a long week just to meet my goals, then I have to do it. If I'm telling myself that I can't be on social media at a certain time, or perhaps that I shouldn't be on social media at all for a day or 3 days, I literally have to keep my word. My future is dependent on what I'm doing right now. At 8:57 p.m. right now, future me tomorrow, me in the next minute is depending on what I am doing in the present moment. And if in the present moment I'm not keeping my promises and I'm letting myself down and I'm constantly contributing to this loop of confusion and failure and winning and confusion and failure and winning due to me not keeping my promises, I am halting my own destiny. I believe we are all destined to do something great. However, we do have free will, which means we can negatively impact the path that we are on. For an example, if you find yourself in a friendship or a romantic partnership that is not serving you, that is toxic, that is confusing, and you feel like you've learned the lesson, you've learned what you needed to learn to grow, but you continue to stay in that pattern, at the point of going back after you've learned the lesson, you are literally derailing yourself from the journey that you are meant to be on. And then you're going to have to go through a few more hurdles to find yourself back to the path that you should have been on the whole time. Now, to be clear, when we're going through hardships in life, it doesn't mean that we are not where we're supposed to be. I believe we are all meant to face hardships to learn and grow and to develop into who we are meant to be, to ultimately come back to ourselves. But when we're born and we're gaining consciousness, we're not given this manual to live the life that we are meant to live. We have to figure things out and we have to take accountability, and we can't blame our past. At this point, I feel like I'm getting off track, but you guys know how I can be, especially when we start talking about self-growth. I want to be prepared for what's next. I want to be prepared for the next hurdle. I want to be prepared for the next round of success I receive. Because I'm telling you right now, and everyone should feel this way, by this time next year, I will not be where I am now. Just like at this time last year, I was not where I am right now. Although I still live in the same space, my space looks completely different. And more importantly, the space that exists within my head, in my heart, and in my soul looks and feels and sounds a lot different. Speaking of sounds, let's listen to this food. And I wish you could smell it.